Hello friends, welcome back here to League Unlocked. My name's Eric and we're looking at the LPL playoffs. We've been covering that as it's been a pretty big hiatus since stuff actually started. And a few days ago, the LPL did announce their all-pro squads. They got the first, second, and third team. And RNG, even though they struggled at times because they were going with a whole bunch of different roster iterations, they still were heavily represented on the all-pro squads, as you'd expect, as well as the likes of IG and Rogue Warriors, all the top dogs in the LPL for the summer split. Let's take a look at that first team all-pro squad, which, I mean, it makes sense. You got Zoom in the top lane for JD, who really had a surprise season for how good they actually were. One game away from finishing ahead of RNG for that first round bye. Ning and Rookie, much like Spring, they've been the best mid-jungle duo. Rookie could probably be MVP yet again. He's been a dominant force in the LPL pretty much ever since he came. SMLZ. The reason he's first pro ahead of the likes of Uzi is because Uzi took a couple weeks off, as he did. SMLZ played pretty much, or the entire split, so deserving of that top spot just because he's played more games than Uzi and has been an absolute beast on Rogue Warriors. Ming, this guy has played over 150 games this year, which is absolutely bonkers. I mean, you got MLXG and Karsa subbing in and out. You got Uzi, who's able to take breaks because they have a more than capable substitute in Abel. And Ming is their lone support. He's there playing every single game. Xiaohu is playing every single game as well. But Ming's also playing internationally for the Asian Games, so he's got added games there. They also had the practice that was leading up to that. So this guy has, I don't know how he's not going to be burnt out by 2018, especially assuming, and it's a bold assumption, that RNG is going to be going to Worlds. Ming will have played in basically every event possible, even the Demacia Cup, which Uzi didn't take part in. Ming was there. This guy has had an absolutely incredible 2018. Let's look at this second team All-Pro in the LPL, where there's Uzi. You got the likes of him there in that bot lane. Even though he missed some games, he should still be on an all-pro team. Come on. Karsa over MLXG. Karsa, far and away the more consistent jungler for RNG this split, and it'll be interesting to see how, come Worlds, how they utilize Karsa, because you assume that that's going to be the main sub they bring, and who knows what's going on with 6 or 7 rosters. 6 or 7 man rosters at Worlds. We'll get to that in a little bit, but Karsa has been outstanding. DoinB has been a front runner for MVP. The only reason he's second team is because Rookie is first team. If you're looking at just the top 5 players from the LPL summer split, DoinB is probably number 2 right behind Rookie, but because Rookie's there, he goes in first team. Mako, the only non-RNG member at the Asian Games, deserving of that spot. Him and iBoy have been absolute forces, as per usual, for EDG. And even though EDG had a bit of a down split by their standards, Mako still comes in as one of the best supports in the entire league. And he has been for a pretty long time. I mean, Mako in Deft, he was dominating. Now he's got iBoy under his wing and continues to be an absolute beast on EDG. And finally, we got the third All-Pro team. And look at this. It's more RNG members. All 5 members are on an all-pro squad, which is absolutely incredible. Let me in at the top lane. Not exactly sure what he's doing with this cool pose there, getting his Professor X mind games on against people, but I don't really know what he's doing. Xiaohu in at the mid lane, another guy who's underappreciated on this RNG squad. Just a consistent force, former MVP of the league. Hacker in at jungle for Suning Gaming, which was another team that surprised how well they performed. They made it to the playoffs, exited early on, but he still had a solid split for Suning. And then the bot lane for IG, absolutely deserved. That's 4/5 of IG. The Shy and Dukes split too much time for either of them to make that all-pro squad, but don't you worry, the Shy is still one of the best top laners in the Chinese scene, and maybe the world. We haven't seen him internationally yet, so it's a little too early to say that. But Jackie Love and Baolon have had another fantastic split for IG. I mean, they went 18-1 yet again. So yeah, you should probably have at least 4 of your members on that all-pro squad when you've had that dominant a regular season. Hopefully we see a better playoff performance from IG this split, and hopefully it's the Shy who's starting in that top lane. But I alluded to 7-man rosters at international competitions because, I mean, people want that for Cloud9 after seeing the NA LCS, how they're able to utilize Golden Glue and Svenskeren. C9 have been the best team to do that with this roster in North America, at least, because historically C9 or NA teams just haven't used subs at all. And people are saying if Riot institutes a 7-man roster rule for Worlds, because at international events in the past it's only been 1 sub you're allowed to bring, except for an emergency sub, where if someone's dealing with something physical or something that might force them out of games, you can bring an emergency sub. But really, it's only 6 official ones that you can bring. And people are saying, well, if they bring 7, then NA's just biased for Worlds and they're just trying to do their best to make NA do better. But I mean, you look at Fnatic, they're another team, maybe not 7, but they're bringing in that extra sub who they have been utilizing that sub even better than C9. And bringing that different play style is something that only increases the excitement of these best of series, bringing in Svenskeren and Golden Glue to completely change up that mid-jungle synergy and how they play as Cloud9. Obviously, Bwipo for Fnatic, and your playstyle completely changes. You're way much higher tempo and a more aggressive, faster paced when you have him in that bottom lane. But the teams that utilize these subs the best are the teams that have been doing it for years in the LCK and the LPL. So I don't really understand how it's a bigger advantage for NA when you have one team who does it and the rest of the teams just run their same 5 guys out there every single game. I mean, RNG is the team who would best benefit from a 7-man roster with Karsa and MLXG, and then Letme and Zatai in that top lane. They use it the best. Obviously, Abel's probably not going to an international event because Uzi will want to play every game and should play every game, but it's China and even teams like Afrika who are going to use the likes of Mowgli, Spirit, and Aiming, and Kramer in that bottom lane. They're going to utilize these 7-team rosters better because they go an entire split actually using a 10-team roster where they're scrimming against each other. So if Riot does change the rule, and I don't think they will for this Worlds, maybe for 2019, but if they do change it, it's not going to be to benefit Cloud9 or North America as a whole, because the LPL and LCK have been doing it for years, and they would love to see this change so that they can dominate the Western teams even more than they usually do.